You know what's one of the fastest ways that you as an interior designer head to burnout? It's saying yes too often to the wrong kinds of projects or the wrong kinds of people for you, right? Because when you don't have clear boundaries, you end up with projects that the clients have fuzzy goals, there's mismatched expectations, all good humans, but not good alignment. Well, I'm so delighted to tell you that we have a solution for this. At Lou University this year, we have a brand new class. It's being taught by Dixie Willard, and it's called Developing Your Project Qualification Criteria. Dixie is going to help you define what done looks like so that you can turn burnout red flags into must-ask intake questions, right? She's going to help you go through your past data to create a new way to go through for you that works. All right. She's also going to help you break budgets into time versus product so that you can set realistic boundaries. Imagine this. Picture onboarding only right fit clients who energize you, respect your process, and align with your vision. Sound amazing? I know. Well, head over to luannuniversity.com now because we are in early bird registration. It is open through August 29th and classes start in September. Go to luannuniversity.com. Let's change that feeling of, is this client a right fit? Is this project a right fit? To slam dunk, can't wait to get started. That's luannuniversity.com. Welcome to A Well-Designed Business. My name is Luann Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company Window Works from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. Today, I'm delighted to bring you this sponsored show by Ciana Lighting. Now, the two guests that are on the show today, you will learn and you will feel are genuinely excited about what they're building together. Ron Henderson from Varaluz and Kevin Plumb from Ciana Lighting. Just a few months ago, these two companies officially became one. And I have to tell you, the energy between Ron and Kevin is infectious. When Ron describes their first meeting, how a planned 30-minute conversation turned into 4.5 hours because they instantly felt like family, you understand this isn't your typical corporate acquisition. Ron is the founder and creative force behind Varaluz, a lighting brand that's been pushing boundaries for nearly 2 decades with bold, artful designs and a commitment to sustainability that goes back to the very first Earth Day. Kevin brings a completely different skill set as a serial entrepreneur who's built and sold 7 companies and now serves as CEO of Varaluz within the Ciana family. For those who might not be familiar, Ciana is known for bespoke lighting in custom and hospitality projects. As you'll learn, we're talking about $700,000 to $6 million projects with 24-karat gold fixtures built to last 50 years and more. Varaluz has been beloved by you, the designer, for bold, artful design, sustainable practices, and what Ron calls unapologetic style. What makes this partnership so admirable is how perfectly their puzzle pieces fit. Ciana needed expertise in the residential market and quick-turn projects. Varaluz needed manufacturing scale and global reach. Together, they're combining Varaluz's expressive design voice with Ciana's manufacturing facilities in Egypt, the Philippines, and China. Plus, there are over 10,000 skilled artisans. Today, we're diving into the details of the acquisition, what it means for the future of both brands, and most importantly, how it affects you as an interior designer. From trade pricing and lead times to customer service and quality control, we're covering all the practical details that you need to know. Whether you've worked with Varaluz before or you're discovering them for the very first time, this conversation gives you the inside perspective on the partnership that's reshaping how lighting companies serve the design trade. Happy to introduce you to Ron Henderson and Kevin Plumb. Well, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. And so I am so happy to have you both here, Ron and Kevin. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. This is Ron.
And Luann, this is Kevin Plumb. So happy to be here with you today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to understanding about this new acquisition, I guess we would call it, right? Ciana Lighting has very recently, as we're recording this only a few months ago in 2025, purchased your company, Varaluz, Ron, right?
Yeah, it's been an exciting and amazing time. These last few months have been pretty fast paced. And even the decision to join the Ciana family was relatively fast paced. It really started in earnest in January of this year.
Oh,
But,
whoa. That's very fast.
well, you ever have one of those meetings where you meet people you don't know at all, and within 10 minutes, you know you're somehow in family?
Wow.
It was kind of that feeling. That first half hour planned meeting or so turned into 4.5, and ended up causing both Kevins. The other KB was there as well, or the other Kevin was there as well. Some struggles in trying to catch a flight out of crazy weather Dallas, but another story for a different day. But it's just been amazing. We had sort of maxed out with our core competency, which is handcrafted, amazing lighting. We think selfishly, but we were very niche and struggled to break out of that with the tools and assets and resources we had. And becoming part of Ciana has greatly expanded what we can do, and we'll be showing the world a lot of that pretty quickly.
Well, first of all, I didn't know that, and I didn't expect to go here, but I just have to say, as a founder of a company, which you're the founder of Varaluz, to have an opportunity to get that first great gut feeling about the potential partner and to have it all happen in under 5 months that's remarkable. Like, that's really, like, I've had a lot of conversations about acquisitions, been parts of lots of conversations with business owners that I know that, and normally it's like, I honestly, literally, today's what? We're recording this Monday, Friday. I had a conversation with somebody who said to me, you know what? Somebody's feeling around thinking about and talking about buying my company. What do I need to know that I don't know? And we went through a little bit of the strategy and things. But finally, you know what? Ultimately, I said, and here's the thing. We're going to be all ready with all the things, but this is going to take forever. You don't have to worry about figuring this out in a minute. So famous last words.
Well, good due diligence can take a long time. I mean, we were a small company and fairly specific in what we did, which probably helped that. Additionally, you know how when you're putting together a jigsaw puzzle and you just happen to luck into the right piece you need? It was that sort of an effect. Like, what we brought to Ciana and what Ciana could bring to us were those missing pieces for each other to some extent. I think we needed more help than they certainly can benefit from, but they're huge in the project-based business and the religious space. And other things that we dabbled in. They have amazing competencies in manufacturing and working with materials we don't even have access to through our normal means of production. So it was just, as we looked at it, there wasn't much duplication on our structures. We were lean, they're lean in different ways. And it was just kind of a really special circumstance.
That's amazing. And, I'm hearing from you as the founder, like, all the benefits that you just are like, this is awesome. It sounds like you get to do more of what you did and do it in a different way. And it sounds like you're very happy. I can see it. I can feel it, that it feels like a good fit for you. So, Kevin, what was the deal for Ciana? What was so attractive about Ron and Varaluz, and why is this happy for you guys?
We had tried as a company to get into the home sector and the small commercial sector, and we did a terrible job at it. We're really good at doing a $700,000 up to a $6 million project.
Holy crow.
What we were really bad at was making a light and shipping it to somebody for their house.
It should be the other way, the hard way, right? It should
Right.
feel like that.
Our typical projects take 2 years from design till delivery.
Wow.
And this idea of taking an order and shipping it the same day, it was just foreign to us.
You're like, we don't even have to look at that PO for 18 months. What are you doing?
That's exactly right. So it is a very symbiotic fit between
That's
the
awesome.
companies.
That's awesome. And it's funny, and I'm going to ask more about each of the companies and the products and the services and so forth, but this is this is unusual. I mean, it's not unusual to have a good partnership. It's not unusual that two good companies find each other, but I don't know that I've ever heard, like, Ron, you as a founder, to be like, I had a conversation and my puzzle piece, my jigsaw piece fit. Usually the founder has a little bit more like, are they going to ruin my company? And I should do this because, I can make the company better and my employees can have better things and I can do different things with my lighting. But it seems like none of that. It just feels like all opportunity.
It truly is, and it's still kind of mind numbing to think that it fell together this way. They appreciate great design. They appreciate great craftsmanship and construction, all core elements of what we do. We bring a few other things, our key focus on sustainability and really a ground up approach to how we make and do things that we've actually been able to help cross pollinate some of that on some of what they do. Just unbelievable, but the love and appreciation for great design. Now, I will tell you, I had to learn something really quickly that I can no longer claim to understand what high end means. We dabble in some fairly expensive chandeliers. By the time you goop it up a lot with gorgeous crystal and things, you can get in the $20,000 to $30,000 range, which is not our norm. But we think $5,000 to $7,000 is pretty nice high end.
Sure.
So when well, I'll let Kevin tell you where they play in a very different space. So I've had to reset my definition of high end.
Tell us about it, Kevin.
Well, it's on average $700,000 to do lights for a project. And our largest project was $6 million on one project.
And are we talking about like how is that like a 40-story office building? Is that like is that like
These are religious buildings, temples, or mosques.
hmm.
And we actually have a line of lights that are 24 karat gold.
Oh, so this is like individual lighting, like you're saying, Ron, like, oh, okay, that kind of high end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, very high end. These lights are built to last 50 years or more.
Oh my
Very
God.
high quality.
So when you originally said that your projects can be, 700,000 to 6 million, I was thinking quantity, but that's not it. It's quality. It's that
Yes.
type of specialty and quality. So it's
Yes.
interesting because so you're both companies, even though you're high end is higher end, but you're both artisan companies. That's the thing that we're understanding. There isn't one monster company that's acquiring a smaller company that is more curated. It's two highly curated companies, is what I'm hearing.
very much.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. So now when I think about that, Kevin, so what is it that Ron and Varaluz bring? Like I hear it again, but I want to hear it again. So like they can turn something around for one home, you said. That you couldn't have done because production just it wasn't cost effective to do, a 24 karat gold piece that might take you 18 months to produce and then go do something for a residential house. This is a division that allows you to do that. Is that simply the clarity of it?
Well, they bring a catalog of product,
Okay.
and Ron has a unique look. When you go to like the Dallas Lighting Show, Lightovision, and you walk through there, and there's hundreds of lighting companies there. It seems like there's what 5 floors of lighting companies. They all look about the same. And as we walked through, and we looked at Ron's, we said, "Wow, there's actually a style that Ron has."
Hmm.
And as we've met more people, they say, yes, Ron has a style. And it's refreshing
Yeah.
to not have every light look like everybody else's lights.
Right. Well, and especially it sounds like that's a core value for Ciana. When you do that sort of work, you're not looking to pick up a line that's just like anybody else's, obviously. Right.
Correct.
Okay. So Ron, are you the lighting designer or were you the lighting designer and now it's your vision and your brand and your outlook on it? Or are you the brains and you've always had great artisans and designers? Like how did your company develop to get a recognizable brand?
So I'll give you the slightly cheesy answer, which is if you like what we've done, yes, I'm involved with it. And if not, we have a team of other designers. Um, 90.
Oh, that one I didn't do. You don't like
Yeah.
that one? I didn't do that one.
Yeah, no.
That
We
was
got,
Sally. We
well,
fired her.
yeah, we'll move on from them. Truth be told, though, we're really a big collaboration center. You know, lighting in the basic form of a chandelier or a pendant has existed now for a couple thousand years. And there's something comforting to the human psyche, and it plays into wellness and so many other things. But people want a light fixture to look kind of like a light fixture. So when you know you're playing with those basic constructs, there's still an ability to celebrate craftsmanship and quality and bring something unique to it. And that's the reason I even started the company almost 18 and a half years ago. I worked for a couple of other companies and I was bored. One, I didn't come in as a lighting designer. I came in, weirdly enough, through marketing, but my background is really engineering and aviation. Another weird life turn, chain of events, but it was a huge passion growing up. And when you chase some of those passions and you find out they're not nearly as exciting and fulfilling as when you were 14 and had the idea, kind of that kind of thing. But I get it so easily off track. Sorry.
That's okay.
But getting back to just kind of what we do and how we do it, at the time in lighting, everybody kind of had the same thing. And I worked for companies that were, as I gradually realized I was capable of design, they wanted more of that same stuff. And I just couldn't, in good conscience, do it without trying to see if there might be some way for whatever this weird voice is to kind of make a space for itself on the on the shelving, so to speak, out there in the lighting stores. Okay. And 18 years later, we managed to pull some of that off.
So let me ask you a question. It sounds like what I'm wondering is like, would an interior designer be familiar with each of your companies now? So Ron, did you yes, we were to the trade and now designers just understand we have better and more capabilities because we're under the Ciana family. So that you were already a trade resource, correct?
We were not as well known as we would like to be. We have work to do in that department, but
right. But you were trade. And then Kevin, with a $700,000 light fixture made out of 24 karat gold, were you also already in the trade space, but it's those like Ron and I are like, oh wait, that kind of ultra luxury designer? Like, were you a to the trade designer, lighting company, or is it architectural? Like, who's specifying your products? Would designers know it already?
The designers for these religious facilities, the mosques, the temples, they know who we are.
Okay. So it's that little subset of the design world.
That is
and
correct.
You're the go-to in that world.
Yes.
So you wouldn't normally have been showing at a regular Lightovation or something like that because that's not your target client. But now with Varaluz, you're moving into that space.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so that makes sense to me. Now, how is that challenging for you, Kevin, in any way? It's like before you were like, you're my people, this small, tiny subset of the global interior design community. I imagine it's probably your community was global. Your target audience was global. I can't imagine there's, thousands of specialty designers for mosques and religious buildings, right? So it's probably a small global community. How is it? It's only a few months, but you're like, oh, sweet Jesus, now we got to find the 80,000 designers in the U.S., like in the 140,000 across the globe. Like, what is that like for you to kind of sit with, right?
Well, that's why we're here today, right?
Great answer.
Well,
first stop, a well-designed business. Okay,
there you
good.
go.
Check.
There you go. Because Ciana's currently doing 26 projects in 18 countries.
Yeah. Wow.
And so global is absolutely what we talk.
Hmm.
And we have manufacturing in Egypt, in the Philippines, and in Guangdong, China.
Hmm.
And so we already understood how to move products around. We understood how to look at an end country destination and then manufacture in the appropriate facility that had the ability to do what the job required, but also taking tariffs into consideration. So, when this whole tariff war started going on, everybody was really afraid. At Light of Vision, people were telling me, we're not ordering new inventory till we figure this out.
Hmm.
Isn't it killing your company, killing Varaluz? And I said, nah, it doesn't really affect us because we will look at the tariffs, and tariffs out of Egypt are pretty favorable into the
Okay.
US. So we can build components in Guangdong, move them to Egypt, and do more assembly and wiring and certifications. And then it becomes a product of Egypt, not a product of China.
Huh.
So it
Interesting.
just, and so we're bringing that power to Varaluz now. So Varaluz is very unaffected by these all the turmoil in the world as well.
That's exciting, right, Ron?
Most definitely. That, and I get to play in their toolbox, which is a lot bigger than the one we had.
Let me see your crayons. You have the 64 pack, right?
I think Ron has 300 new lights he's doing for January.
Really?
Yeah, and I know that number may or may not mean a lot to most people, but I think in our best year ever as Veriluz, I think we did about 150 over multiple introductions. This is just our January planned introduction. And that is
Mm.
truly unique, new. We have extensions and things, and not to certainly one of the treasures that we found in this, the home line that Sienna had worked on had some real gems in it. I mean, they were gorgeous designs, just some things that needed to be handled a little differently. So we are bringing that in as a collaboration within our line, much like we do our Tamara Day collaboration or something else where we work with some other celebrities. So we have a really, while other key companies have been kind of hitting the brakes a little bit, dealing with things. We had a nice introduction at June. We have one in High Point in October, and we have a big one in January. We're just starting to hit the gas pedal.
That's crazy. That's that
Plus,
that's an inordinate amount of work.
we have a lot of great, well, I think great ideas. You and your listeners can certainly be the true judge of that with
Yeah.
when we put it out there for the world to see.
You know what just crossed my mind, and it's probably like the weirdest things crossed my mind that everybody listening is probably like, who cares about that? But it just crossed my mind. Like, are there opportunities to use these $700,000, $600,000, one of a kind for these religious institutions? Is there like inspiration that comes from that? Like your designers now are looking and saying, well, what would be? And maybe I wouldn't recognize as a garden variety human the residential version, like it came from that. You would, as an artist, see what I don't see, or maybe I would. Is that a thing? Or you're like, no, we're not copying our highest end work, Luann. What are you talking about?
So we're not copying. We are borrowing where it kind of makes sense. And if it was
Yeah.
something I
Okay.
found interesting or that would make sense, we are kind of known for giving the actual backstory on the design for a couple of
Ah.
reasons. Sometimes we're a little ahead of the curve. I don't know what it is that the good Lord put into me, but I can clue into trends that are coming. Don't know how, don't know why. I have to explain it to people in the sales teams that we work with and the customers that we work with in the design trade. We sometimes have to help them see the use and application for it because it's not something they're necessarily seeing yet. So we share the real design inspiration. Why did we do this? Why does it look this way? Why is it that finish? So same thing with the pieces we're deriving from some of the religious pieces. It's like, look, this is just great design,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be limited to an $80,000. If you divide an $800,000 project up into 10 lights or whatever, it doesn't
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
be that price. And you need to make it residential scale. Now we do large residential scale pieces. We have a lot of customers in Texas and California with high ceilings in huge spaces. And we love, my favorite thing in the world is to design a large statement chandelier. So I love playing in that world. And again, when I joked about the toolbox includes the things that they work on and the designs they come up with. But we don't steal outright.
No, right.
And if
But
we
that
do it, we're giving credit to whoever we're borrowing
inspiration.
it from.
But it's the inspiration, right? It's
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's interesting. I would think that it would be a thing. I mean, when I think about it, I have been to, I don't know if you guys know the Kravitz family, and I've been to the archives, the studio archives, right? And one time there was an exhibit that I went to, and it had, the archival pieces that Scott has collected. And one frame on the wall would be the archival piece. And then the next frame was showing the fabric that coincidentally Tom Felicia had designed. And if you looked at them on the other side of the room, you may or may not have thought it, but when you saw them side by side, you saw the artist pulling from it, right? Like that's the thing, right?
Definitely. We're even borrowing from our past with our 20th anniversary coming up. We're revisiting some iconic looks that either were hits or, in my mind, should have been.
Maybe they're ready for it now, folks.
Yeah, but we're not necessarily revisiting it the way it was, but we're, again, taking whatever that core inspiration was and what does that translate to, hopefully something we find relative and pertinent to now.
Good. Okay. So here's what I'm picking up, Kevin. I'm picking up, this is like going to Disneyland for Ron. Like I have done this for 18 years. I am super jacked. It's just like more and better with creativity and, disposal of the toolbox. I know that the plus for Ciana is to have this residential division and to have this, line that isn't just exclusive for these super high end, typical religious, locations. What else are you learning? Are you having ahas? Like in your background, have you always just done, like, did you come from another lighting company and so you're like, oh, this is going back to my roots, or you've only done Ciana and this large scale, one-off types of religious things, in which case now this is a whole new learning experience for you as well? How is this processing for you?
Well, as a entrepreneur, I've built and sold 7 companies. And every book about being an entrepreneur says stay in your wheelhouse, right? So, Luann, you may not decide to be a brain surgeon this week, but right?
I
But
probably shouldn't. Just saying.
but stay in your wheelhouse. And so, for me, I've never had anything to do with lighting before, and so we did Sienna, and we found a need that was out there, and we filled it.
Wow.
But again, we had made an attempt for a year and a half at doing the residential market. We just didn't know what we were doing. So we needed Ron to do that. But now Ron gets to just design. He doesn't have to worry about payroll. He doesn't have to worry about all the nasty stuff in business.
Yes, right. Yes. Right.
And Ron now has the world's finest crystal. It's 32% lead. And as we took one of our lights and took it to High Point and let Ron hang it, Ron looked at it and said, oh no, it's got LED bulbs in it. And then he lit it up. And everybody that walked past that chandelier just took their breath away.
Wow. Wow.
And not just because it was a religious light, which it is, and it was gorgeous.
Right.
It was something I fell in love with, but high lead content in crystal does not care if you have an LED bulb behind it. The inexpensive optic glass, the K9, K4, whatever, the Chinese engineered crystal, to be polite, none of that has any life to it or really color refraction. But true leaded crystal does not care what the light source behind it is. It is just stunning. And It was one of the biggest aha moments of my life in my little weird world of lighting. But
yes, right.
It was like,
right.
Okay, so, lead sometimes conjures up negative images, but this is not something your toddler is going to be hanging from chewing on.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter. But it makes a huge difference. And it was something we didn't have access to or it would have been nutty expensive to try to figure out how to do it. But part of the toolbox is
Wow.
that, and I even really tried my best not to let Varaluz become a crystal company, although somehow in the last 10 years, we've turned into almost a 50% crystal company, only because I did learn, at least with K9, you can design the crystal. There's the
Mm.
ability, without having to commit to 20,000 pieces of a crystal design and mold costs and other things, you can actually work with it. So when I realized, okay, I can put my mark on this, I can start with something I designed in the crystal and come up with a fixture around that. Then I was interested and intrigued, and voila, 10 years or 8 years later, we're a pretty big crystal company. But now, completely game changing again, is the ability to make something that really loves LED bulbs.
Wow. That's crazy. Is this is I mean, is this unique to you guys? Like because like in other words, XYZ lighting company, regular whoever might have been you would have considered your peer prior to this, Ron. So this is like, yeah, they don't have this. I got this.
There are quite a few out there who don't have access to it, or if you do, you're buying it somewhere really expensive. You're not going to be able to use much of it the way, not that I want to get carried away with making something super goopy,
Right.
but truly stunning. And I can let Kevin address how we have an advantage in it. He's more familiar than I certainly am.
Would you like that, Luann?
If you want to share it.
We have
If it's
partnered.
pertinent to you. If it's
Well,
pertinent to you, and your story. You know what I'm saying?
it's good because we partnered with a company called Asfor. There's 5,200 people there in Egypt that make the crystal. They make 30 tons of it a day. It's a
Wow.
lot. Well, there's glass tumblers and pitchers and all kinds of other things, not just lighting crystal.
Right.
But the beautiful thing is they take 25% of their profits each year and donate it to the people of Cairo.
Mm.
And so when you're buying these lights, these Veriluz lights with this Asfor crystal, you're actually supporting a really good cause. There is a hospital there, and they use surgeons from Cleveland Clinic and Mayo Clinic. And if you happen to be there and need a heart transplant, you will get one using world-class surgeons. And if you can't pay, the family pays your bill before you leave. And so it's a really, really good company. So it's just part of the story. It's
Yeah, this just is like win, 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 win. You're like it's just like such a kumbaya story. I love
it
all of it.
it really is.
That's incredible. So I guess where my brain goes now is I guess what I'm just curious. I'm repeating myself to some extent. I can see, like, I'm putting myself in Ron's position, right? I've got 3 different companies, well, 2 now, sold one of them, but, like, it's all always for sale. Okay, you know what I mean? Because if you could make that synergy thing, if you could make that, connection with somebody who doesn't wanna take your company and pull it apart for pieces, that wants to reimagine it as what you in your wildest dream could that's what it sounds like, Ron. It's like, this is everything I build, but like more, right? And so that part is clear to me. I'm really curious, Kevin, are you having ahas? Are you having like, oh, great. Now what do we do with this company over here? Because it's such a different model. Like, what are you guys experience at your end on Ciana where in the partnership, like Ron is saying, geez, I just learned that crystal is not all the same. Like there is a difference here. So are you having ahas? Are you having learning experiences yet? Is it too soon? But just, being the CEO of a much different company than you were at Ciana.
I think the largest aha for us, and I talk about my partner who's the CEO of Sienna and now I'm the CEO of Veriluz. We were traveling this week in Ireland and we were talking a lot about the two companies and the synergies, and he looked at me and said, this Varaluz company has a lot larger potential than what we thought when we purchased it. And so that's a pretty big aha.
That's exciting, right? That's exciting. That's great stuff. So, and the sense I'm getting, Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong, is that unlike Ron, you've not been a lighting creator. You're not a lighting designer, right? You're a business guy who owns businesses, right?
Correct.
Okay. So in this new partnership, you know, my brain is like, okay, do you have quotas now, Ron? Like what do you have to
Budgets,
no,
definitely budgets.
like budget and quotas and like how because now we got to meld the artist with the business guy and I don't know enough about you, Ron. Maybe you were a crack business guy and that's okay with you. You know what I'm saying?
Did you
But a
say crack or crack?
no, crack. Like A1. You could have been an A1. You know
Some
what I'm
arguments
saying?
for both.
Right? I mean, here's what it's in 1,400 interviews. It's unusual to find a true creative that also has the business side. Now, I've met many that have cultivated at by 18 years in, have got it on lock and all the things, but then it's still different than, looking across the table at Kevin. Like, does he really care about like I need this extra piece? Or he's like, dude, it's not cost effective. It's not gonna happen. Like, do you anticipate this kind of stuff or we have all that figured out? Like, you know what I'm saying?
We've never said no to Ron yet.
Oh.
But Ron is also really cognizant of what he's asking for. And really, what they're bringing some good parental, not necessarily controls, although they are. My strength was not really business. My degree was aerospace engineering. I almost finished my MBA. The only two courses I needed were rather important, though, the accounting courses. And the reason I never finished my MBA is I withdrew twice from the first of the two courses rather than get an F on my record because I've always had really good grades. And I was just absolute fish out of water with accounting.
I know,
Now,
right?
how do you keep something alive for 18 years? Yeah, it's, being
You get better as you
pig-headed
go
enough.
along. Yeah, you get better as you go
Maybe.
along.
But that's, I'm sure part two of where both Kevins were talking in the past week is they've been able to get in, see our systems, put more process in place, real structure, with largely the assets, the team, the inventory, everything we already had. They're realizing that with, the right adult supervision in the house can be much bigger and better. And I was aware of it, but we did our own thing.
We have we're creative. We have certain limitations. It's fine. We have other superpowers. Come on, right? We need these guys. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I have no problem admitting it. I'm
Yeah.
super happy. They told me I would be happy, and I 75% believe them. Now it's 110% or whatever the joking term is.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. So now when we think about what's coming ahead, right? We're coming ahead. There's new introductions coming in fall High Point Market, and then January your introductions coming out. What do you guys want to tell me about that? What do you want designers to know about this? So if a designer previously was not a Ciana consumer, right? A customer of Ciana, because it wasn't in their wheelhouse to be that sort of designer, are they signing up with an account with Varaluz? Are they signing up an account with Ciana? Like let's make it so that designers know how to see your product, engage with your product, and specify the products in their projects.
Yeah, Ron, I'll take that one. We are working very hard to open a new showroom in High Point for the High Point Market. And we only made the decision last week, so that is 2 months.
Oh my God. You
to
don't
get
know
that.
what you don't know. That's so
I
fun.
know.
I love that. Go. You got this.
And that's what we told our people. Just make it happen. Come on, let's do it. How hard could it be?
Do you know what building you're going to be in, or that's still not decided yet?
Yeah, we do.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember the name, Ron. You can help me.
The main building, IHFC's building.
Okay.
Second floor.
Second floor. Good. All right. That's
So
nice.
we're looking forward to meeting lots of designers there and help them understand the program and get them
Okay.
signed up.
Okay. And then when you do that, again, do we want designers to go to Ciana for an account or Varaluz for an account, or it's all going to root around to the same place?
Varaluz.
Varaluz. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. Now, are there minimums that a designer has to open an order with? Like, no, they're both shaking their head no. So they can walk in and buy one beautiful piece of art that also happens to light a room, and they can specify it in a project.
Correct.
Okay. And then do I need to know anything particular about shipping, about lead times? Now I'm putting my business hat on. I'm like, okay, I'm a designer. I'm walking the thing. I see Veraluz. I love something. Now I have to have all the particulars. It's like, I don't need minimum orders. I'm assuming I'm getting trade pricing. You're in a trade showroom. This isn't like a 10% off. Aren't you, cute, right? This is trade pricing.
Trade pricing.
Okay. Um, Here's some of the other questions that come to my mind. Is Veraluz only available through the trade, or will I also Google it and find it on the internet, or some other second seller will sell it, or is this strictly through you guys?
It's through the trade right now, but there are reseller partners where it's online at Wayfair, Amazon, and a few places like that at map prices.
Okay. Do I need to worry about that? Like, does that drive me crazy if I'm a designer? Is that typical with all your peers in the lighting space?
It's very typical.
Okay. All right. So it's not a situation that I'm probably going to avoid, it sounds like,
No.
no matter where I'm going for my lighting.
No, but to put you a little more at ease on it, we have an outside company that does strict map enforcement. So,
Okay.
and we limit our online distribution to 20 partners that we have a good history with. They don't play games. If they do, they don't stay a partner.
Okay.
And Kevin in the last few months, we've had to deal with one of those. So Kevin's well aware, and has actually brought some additional capability to how we manage that whole side of things. But we take our relationships pretty seriously. What we do is design and design driven. So the last thing we want to do is upset the customer who's most going to appreciate what we do.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so I've covered I can get trade pricing. I've covered I can see it at High Point. You're eventually going to have it in other showrooms across the country, it sounds like.
We already are in
Okay.
some of the brick and mortars out there. That a couple
Like, if
hundred.
am I going to find it at the Merchandise Mart? Am I going to find it at D&D building? Am I going to find it at Vegas Market? Like,
No, we used to have a showroom in Vegas Market. It didn't necessarily make much sense for us, but
mhm.
we have a showroom in Dallas.
Okay.
We currently have a showroom in Historic Market Square in High Point.
Okay.
This show coming up, we may have two because I think we're going to overlap till we complete real build out on the other one.
We're not going to close the one until we know the other one's open. Thank you very much, folks.
Yeah, it's a little more of a rush job than. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. We've done this before years ago, even in the Dallas. We 2 weeks before a January market, the bigger of the two annually, a showroom on the showroom that we're currently in became available, but we had to make a decision, and because it's on the atrium, it had to be beautifully done for the windows, and we went and did it. So we
It's
have a
kind of
track
like
record in that one.
Yeah, it's kind of like designers when they have to do a show house, right?
Yep.
It's like,
Right.
yeah, you have 4 weeks. Get it together, sweetie. No whining. Big girl panties. Just get me a room.
That's
So,
right.
okay, good. I love it. All right, and then another thing that, all right, time out. Let me just review here. Okay, so next thing that goes through my mind, business sense. If I'm a designer walking in, lead times.
Ah,
Am I picking from a catalog? If I'm going to go see you or whatever, but then am I looking online? Am I ordering online through you? Am I ordering through a sales rep? Am I calling and ordering? How do I do the logistics of getting a light?
so you have some options. We stock whatever we catalog,
Okay.
and it is in a Las Vegas warehouse, but also through a 3PL service based out of Salt Lake that we're evolving to. So gradually over time, it will be located closer to wherever your project site is. We ship orders same day if we receive it, I think noon. Pacific time, which is 3 East Coast. Same thing with the service request. In the super rare but unfortunate circumstance where something may go wrong or got too damaged or you need a part, we treat those just like a brand new order. They go out the same day as well. It can take up to 2 days, depending, if the order comes in late in the day, it won't go out till the next day. Kevin, you want to pick that up from there?
Well, the biggest thing is instead of just a few containers of new inventory on the way, I think there's 15 containers on the way right now.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so there's lots and lots of lights, but also a new website will be launching in the next few days. And I say days, where the designers will be able to go on, log in, and get their designer pricing and transact right there. And
Okay. How about customer service? How about if I have a particular project, I see something on your website, I feel like the scale, the proportion, the blah, 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 blahs are all great, but I'm not quite sure. Can I call somebody at Varaluz and say, this is my space, this is my requirements, blah, 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 help me through it? Like a seasoned designer probably doesn't need this help, but a lesser experienced designer, I can tell you that is sometimes the barrier, right? Like a designer will call and they will not necessarily get a client service team that is A, knowledgeable, and B, willing to be the guide, right? Like sometimes we need the guide. Help me figure out, oh, don't do sconces like that. Bah, bah, bah. Do you have a good quality customer service team, Ron, to help everybody out?
We do. And in fact, we gained an amazing level of talent on that with our acquisition by Ciana. Sabrina, who I'll name check out there, comes from a design background. So in addition to customer service and tech support, we definitely can help step you through installation, assembly. On the rare occasion you need assembly, most of our items come out of the box fully done. They're big for a reason. It's big, structurally strong, sound welded pieces. We don't want you to have to spend a few hours
Screw them
putting a fixture together. If it makes sense to do it or it makes it safer to ship, we do on some. But we have a team of 5 here in Las Vegas that support that. Our customer service hours are 7 to 4:30 West Coast, which means we cover the full day on the East Coast and into the evening even. So we run pretty good support. Additionally, most of us are dumb enough to put our cell numbers out there and are happy to respond to a text or a call for anybody. I mean, we're all pretty passionate with what we do, and the last thing we want to do, if you've had the amazing wherewithal to choose something from us, pay for it and have it sent to you, we sure don't want you unhappy with what happens after that. So we roll out every red carpet necessary to make sure you got an amazing experience from us, not just the actual shipment.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
Luann, this is Kevin. In addition to that, of course, they can, like any other manufacturer, they can get finished samples sent to them so they can actually feel and see the metals and see the colors.
okay.
And we're actually also working on a virtual marketplace so they can walk through the room, see the light, touch the light virtually,
Wow.
and see it from all angles,
Wow.
and then transact.
Okay.
More on that to come.
Okay, that's great. And then I don't know, I'm surprising you with this question. You mentioned that there's rare deficiencies, but is there a percentage of the product that have deficiencies that are missing a bracket or missing a thing? Do you know that percentage? Is it low? Is it high? You do know it. What is it?
Well under 1%.
Oh, see, I love that. That's
Yeah.
A+ answer. Yay.
So we track it. We take it pretty seriously. A previous lighting company I worked for, I've been in this crazy industry about 30 years, used to set 7% as their benchmark. And I always complained. I'm like, why? That's 7% of our people. You're happy with being unhappy about things. So yeah, our goal is to always be under 1%, and we've never eclipsed it.
Yeah, that's a great thing. I mean, we have a company in the window treatment industry that also has an under 1%, and it's incredible when you work with a company like that. It really is. It is head and shoulders above other companies. There's major companies in the window treatment industry that you're just like, what did they forget today? You know what I mean? What didn't they include? And you can't leave them all together because, they spend like $1 billion marketing their product and their names. And so the people want them, but it's brutal. And I asked about the customer service because, having run a business for 4 decades, where, I'm ordering from vendors like yourselves, not lighting, and dealing with the public, those are the crucial things. It's like pricing, fine, right? Like I got to sell the thing I got to sell. I don't care if it's 25 cents or $25 more, $2,500 more. If I can sell it, I can sell it. What I care is that I can get it quickly, that I can talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about, not reading from the rule book on lighting encyclopedia and has no idea what I'm talking about. And, that if there is a deficiency, first of all, that the percentage is low, but if there is a deficiency, then it's handled, right? Because there's nothing worse than being on a job, and like for lighting, that's a huge part of a designer's job, right?
Well, and this is Ron again. I mentioned briefly earlier our eco cred. We spend more time designing the box or the crate that the fixture is shipping to you in to use as little material as possible, but to get it to you safely. So we use air as the primary insulator. We hand make our own boxes. They're hand stamped in silkscreen with soy-based inks, taking it to another whole level on the eco-friendliness. But our scrap cardboard is what we make the inserts inside out of. So, we go to some unusual extremes, seemingly, but it doesn't really add cost to what we do. But it does also help minimize those issues of missing parts or something getting to you broken. If something gets to you damaged, it's because FedEx ran a forklift through it.
Exactly.
Which does happen
I
twice a month.
Had that. I just had that. I had a designer I was coaching, and one of the first problems that she had was she said, when I got to the house, I could see the forklift thing through the box into the back of the sofa. And the guy's looking at me going, I didn't do that. And she's like, what planet am I on right now? Like, I'm looking at it. You're looking at it. Like, what is this? So that's great.
Since I just named FedEx, let me also add something really positive on their behalf. If they do that, they notify the end receipt person, whoever's going to, the recipient, and us that they did it. And they credit us back immediately, but they let us know while it's in transit so we can fix it.
Oh, that's nice.
It's not huge. It's a pretty rare thing, but it does happen.
Yeah,
something happens.
Yeah. So now you mentioned this process that you have with packaging for eco-friendly. And I feel like I read somewhere about you guys that this is not a passing thing. And of course, just by evidence of doing that packaging, you're not doing it just for the safety of your product. This sounds like it's an important thing to you. Is it always been important to you? And is that a meld with Ciana that's important to Ciana too? Or is this a new thing that Ciana's like, all right, let's get on board with Ron here with this stuff?
I'll defer that to Kevin to answer, but in terms of the passion for it, on my side, I'm of that first generation that celebrated an Earth Day. So it was sort of ingrained in me that come April 22nd, at least, make your effort, pick up pop tops, which is an expression 2/3 of your listeners won't even know what that is. It was sort of always core to what we did. So the way we manufacture, we use only water-based paints and solvents and chemicals. We don't want to have to work in a place you can't breathe or that's going to give you, lifelong issues. So we want to honor the people and the craft of what we do, but do it in a way that's healthy and supportive for us. We never even used to brag about how we did all this. We have an amazing marketing team on the Ciana side behind what we do who are having some fun with promoting it. And we started to a little bit a few years ago because we ended up winning an Eco Award from the arts organization. We were the launch recipient. I don't even know how they knew because we never really talked about it. And it wasn't something it wasn't a real accepted, big prize at the time. They decided they were going to do it. They knew about us. And it was kind of wonderful that, it suddenly started to resonate with people. But we think it through literally in every aspect of what we do. How we even print our catalogs.
The value of yours as a founder and a leader that just happened to get popular in the last several years, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Right?
I wish everybody would jump on that bandwagon. Yeah. It'd be great. We'd have less landfill and
Yeah.
We used a company that's now defunct, so we're trying to find someone else to help put values to what we do. But we put it in terms of elephants, but we saved something on the order of like 2,700 tons of waste from landfills just from the boxes that we make, because we save our own scrap and reuse it. And then we've designed with things like garlic skin in the past. Just it's left over from manufacturing canned garlic or jarred garlic. There's a factory down the street from us in the Philippines that does that. And I happened to see piles of it sitting out front one day. And I'm like, that's really pretty. And it's kind of creamy white. But anyway, I can go on for days
You
with
got
stories
meatballs
on
to
that
go
stuff.
with that? I mean, come on.
Well, that was a slight downside to that product line. When you overlamped it, it generated a little more heat than you wanted. And you had the smell of roasted garlic throughout your home. So don't
So
always
my
play with
husband
everything.
would be like, sign me up for lighting that smells like garlic. That's come home every day. Heck with your perfume, Lou. Get that garlic thing going.
Yeah, it
Awesome.
was not one of my better thought out things, but it was a really pretty light at the time.
Yeah. And so, Kevin, how does that align? Is that like a great influx for you, a great direction for Ciana, or it aligns already with, and what is, understanding that the marketing team is jumping on it, but how is that a core value for you guys? How does that align?
Well, it does align. Now, most of our fixtures at Sienna are so large that they can't come in a cardboard box anyway. They come in a wood crate,
Okay.
and then the wood is totally recyclable. It's wood. But the one thing that Sienna's doing for Varaluz is on that quality, that 1% number that Ron had. We think we can get that lower because Sienna actually inspects every light at the factory before it ever leaves.
Oh, wow.
And so if we add that inspection now to Varaluz, it gives you a higher chance of getting a perfect product when it arrives for you.
You guys, neither of you might know the answer to this, but on the outside chance, is this typical in the lighting industry, a less than 1% deficiency rate, or are you guys unusual on both ends, both Varaluz and Ciana?
I can speak for my side of the world. I've worked for 5 different companies, and the benchmarks and the targets there were between 7 and 10%. And a couple of them are, all of those companies are still in existence.
And that's their benchmark. It doesn't mean they reach it.
Correct.
Right?
No, we had some work to do at 2 of the companies.
Yeah. Okay. So this sounds like a really, really inspiring, partnership here. Feels like it's going to be super exciting both ways, both for Ciana and for Varaluz. Is there anything about this that I didn't bring up that either you are sitting there and thinking, we didn't talk about this great thing?
You want a little bit on design?
Yeah, go ahead.
New Victorian. It's going to be everywhere if it isn't already.
Is this because we were all watching The Gilded Age and Downton Abbey? It's finally coming? Is that
a little bit. It's actually just a really nice outgrowth of trying to go back to moodier, a little bit of the anti-all white rooms, white. And it's a nice evolution from all the various Japandis and organic moderns, but it's a celebration of stones and, again, craftsmanship, the more ornate metalwork. Even new Rococo is coming. Rococo's having a rebirth moment. I'm not sure what the legs on it will be, but come check us out. We have plenty to play in those spaces.
So when we get to High Point in October 2025, would I walk around and be like, wait, what are these guys doing that nobody else is doing? Or you're saying we're going to see it in yours and other of your peers? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're telling us about this new trend. Is it going to be everywhere, do you think? Or like you're kind of like you were saying a few moments ago, you're seeing it ahead?
I think we're going to be a little ahead, but I think you'll see it everywhere in 12 to 18 months.
We won't be shocked.
Yeah.
We won't be shocked.
The beginnings of it have already been in play. It's a nice coalescing of things, but it's a nice, easy, memorable way of kind of capturing what this look is.
Okay.
The idea of a Victorian chandelier, but not done that way at all.
Right. Reimagined.
Yep.
Reimagined. Right. It's everything is new again, but it's different than it was the way it was. Right.
But you'll get a sense of it. And it's, back then too, the dark reds, the oxbloods, the dark woods. It's kind of a nice reimagining of that.
Ron, do you think that this lighting that is in this, Victorian era type of reminiscent there with the darker colors, do you think it's going to be like almost an accent popped into these other more modern streamlights, like I was going to say the weird, that's not very kind, but the unusual, piece there? Or do you think design in general is going that way and your lighting is going to be ready for the room to be ish that way?
So here's maybe a good way to help illustrate it. Pardon the illustration pun, but a lot of those Victorian fixtures had glass globes. Most of them were oil burning or some sort of something burning, but they were either frosted glass or cut crystal or glass globes. Well, we've been heavy on the glass globe look the last 5 or 6 years, coming out of more of that 70s postmodern plaza kind of looks. So it's an easy evolution to, okay, let's not be so minimalist with the metalwork. Let's add some curve, some Art Nouveau, give it some life and so it's really just a number of things kind of pointing that way. But then on the color side, you have these gorgeous, purple beiges and deep browns that almost color change. The oxbloods, deep, blue blacks and green blacks and brown blacks.
Wow.
So some of it can only be an accent, but I think on the light fixture, you can be safe enough and smart enough, and hopefully the way we do it, and this idiot typically puts more than one design style into a fixture. So we hope we're kind of future-proofing it for you. So yes, it checks these 5 boxes for today, but it's hopefully going to check a couple more 5 years from now.
Right.
So we try to give you that. So we may mix crystal and glass globes and that more Victorian metalwork. We may add a stone element to that scrolly metalwork that is kind of appropriate for something that will happen in a couple of years.
It'll be great to see the showroom and to see, what you've got in there. And, I always love this type of conversation when the creator explains something to me and then I walk in, I'm like, oh, that's what he was talking about, right? So,
well, and the Ciana marketing team / Varaluz marketing team, I like to take credit for them now, are going to be hard at work on helping illustrate that through graphics and other things too, because I can't stand there and talk to everyone about everything. Unfortunately, I'd love to. I can talk all day.
That's awesome. That's great. And how about you, Kevin? Any closing thoughts or ideas that you wanted to share about Ciana, the direction, things that we maybe didn't know we should know, or Varaluz and your involvement now running this company?
Well, first off, it's been a pleasure to speak with you.
Yeah, I mean, I've
Most
enjoyed it
definitely.
too. You guys are great.
And it's been a pleasure I met Ron in January, and it's just been nothing but fun.
Yeah.
We've traveled to Egypt together, and we've had a lot of fun, and it's just onward and upward, and we're really looking forward to meeting your listeners in High Point.
Yeah, this is exciting. This is exciting. I'm, it's like I said, when you started, Ron, with your, oh my goodness, the first meeting, everything seemed to click and fit. That's just it's just such a rare thing. Usually when you start these kinds of things, it's like, you're on that side, I'm on that side, let's try and get it together. And then you do all this hard negotiation. Then all of a sudden you're like, let's play together in a sandbox. Like, oh, great. We were fighting to the death an hour ago. Let's try and make it work now. So I'm happy for you guys. I think it's exciting. And congratulations, Ron, building a company that is worth acquiring, and that a big company like Ciana and Kevin and his, business brain sees the value in your company. That's really something to, pat yourself on the back about.
I try to say thank you every day.
Yeah. And you know what? It's Kevin, it takes people like yourself and your partner, the other Kevin, to find these companies, to find the ones to partner with, and to really trust your instincts on who to make an offer to and who to, acquire, because there's no crystal ball. You can just go with your gut and look at the numbers and hope it all like makes soup at the end, right?
Absolutely.
So, well, good luck, guys. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate this conversation. And I'm looking forward to seeing, the showroom in High Point, probably both of them or one of them. We'll see.
Looking forward to it.
Yep, it'll be great to see you there in person.
This conversation reinforced something that I have always noticed, felt, and reacted to, and that is how lighting design impacts our spaces. Because of this, I believe it is one of your most powerful design tools. If you've been listening to this show for a long time, you've heard me say it more than a few times. No matter how good the food is, the service is, if the lighting is not good, I'm not going back to a restaurant, a hotel, or whatever it is. And yes, it drives the Vin man crazy because sometimes there's pretty darn good food in there. But I cannot stand it when poor lighting ruins the ambiance of a space, period. So it's important, right? Because that's a subjective, it's a subconscious feeling that I am perceiving and getting as a consumer. And you, the designer, and great lighting companies like Ciana and Varaluz, you're the solution to that, right? Now, how about that first meeting between Ron and Kevin? How a 30-minute conversation turned into 4.5 hours. You can't manufacture that kind of chemistry. When Ron said, you ever had one of those meetings where you meet people you don't know at all, but within 10 minutes, you know you're somehow family? That gave me chills. I've had that experience. I'm sure you have too. Don't you just love it when that happens? It just makes your whole inside voice say, this is good, right? Because here's the thing. I've seen my share of acquisitions that look smart on paper but fall apart because that human element is missing. That part where both sides are in it for the mutual benefit of each other and the thing that they're creating together. But Ron and Kevin get this. They are two companies that genuinely respect what the other brings to the table. And speaking of what they bring, let's talk about what this actually means for you as an interior designer. Number one, same-day shipping if you order by noon Pacific time. A customer service team that includes people with backgrounds in design who can guide you through scale and proportion questions. That's important, right? Number three, finish samples on demand. And how about this one? A defect rate well under 1%? I mean, where do you find that? I mean, the industry standard is 7 to 10%. So that's exceptional. Right? These are the practical benefits, and they extend beyond just service. With 15 containers of inventory arriving and a new website launching where you can log in, see trade pricing, transact directly, they are removing friction from the ordering process. Plus, they're working on a virtual marketplace technology where you can walk through a room and see fixtures from all angles before you specify them for your projects. And how about that they've decided with only 2 months to go to launch a showroom at this October High Point Market 2025 fall, right? Okay. I mean, when Kevin said, just make it happen, how hard could it be? I had to laugh. You probably laughed too, because you know exactly how hard it can be when you're working against impossible timelines. It's almost like pulling a show house together, what they're doing, right? But that's exactly the kind of ambitious thinking that builds successful companies and partnerships. They're genuinely excited to welcome you to the second floor of the main IHFC building, where there will be no minimums and full trade pricing. So if you're going to High Point, please stop in. Please see them. Tell them I sent you. Tell them you heard their episode on the podcast, right? Now, you could also feel Ron's excitement about getting his hands on Ciana's toolbox, right? I love that he called it that. And you could also feel it when Kevin said that they realized Varaluz had a lot more potential than even what they thought they had when they purchased it. So it's so clear for both of them that this is about something bigger than simply expansion. It also moved me learning about their partnership with Asfor Crystal in Egypt. 5,200 people making 30 tons of crystal daily, and they donate 25% of their profits to the people of Cairo, including a hospital staff with surgeons from Cleveland Clinic and the Mayo Clinic. I mean, that's pretty incredible. When Kevin said that if you need a heart transplant there and you can't pay, the company covers your bill. You don't hear stories like this every day, my friends. And that's another reason why everything about this feels so good, doesn't it? The bottom line for you is this. Lighting should not be an afterthought. When you partner with companies like Ciana that understand light as a storytelling tool, then it's not an afterthought, right? And it changes what's possible for your projects. So I have to say thank you to both Ron and Kevin. Thank you both for sharing your vision and for being so transparent about this exciting new chapter in the both of your lives and your company's lives. This is so it's just incredible. And thank you for showing up and listening today. I really do appreciate that you do that. Decide to be excellent. Thank you for joining me today. This podcast is a production of Luann Nigara, Inc. If you want to know more about me, my books, or Luann University, go to luannnigara.com. And if you are interested in having WindowWorks help you with your next window treatment or awning project in the New York, New Jersey metro area, go to windowworksnj.com to learn more. Have an excellent day.